This is not an M5. It's actually a birthday present, but it's not a birthday present to me. It's actually a birthday present from BMW to BMW. Let me explain.
So let me make that make sense. There is only 300 of these worldwide. They were built to celebrate 30 years of the world's most iconic super saloon, the M5.
So I find myself quite lucky to bring this car to you guys. 300 made, 30 in the UK, and in this frozen dark silver, you've got to admit it definitely looks the part. And power-wise, it shares the same engine as the standard M5, the S63 4.4 litre V8 twin turbocharged engine, putting out around 552 horsepower. However, in this case, it's had a 40 horsepower increase, taking us up to 592. Remember, this car was made back in 2014. BMW were creating 600 horsepower luxury cars in 2014. That's over 11 years ago. So horsepower wise, it definitely has had a spike, but in terms of torque, not much, just a 20 newton meter increase of torque to the rear wheels. But it's all about the sound of this thing and how it puts it all together to give you what is quite a special experience. Now, when you look at this car from the side and you see the ceramic brakes, you probably just assume it's probably more of a race car vibe than a luxury feel. That isn't the case. Sure, it has the extra power, but the ride quality has not been compromised. It also sits just a tiny bit lower than the standard M5, but it still rides like it's on a cloud. And now moving into the cabin, we get this lovely mix of both leather and Alcantara, both on the seats and on the headlining. This thing just screams premium, and in case you forgot, you can see just here, the plaque tells you only 300 made. Just a gentle reminder before you do anything stupid that this is a special car. And despite this car being over 11 years old, it doesn't look that out of date. And from the front, it just gives me E90M vibes. Imagine this without showing the rear, just like that. I know it's a bit wider, but I just love how BMW have always stayed true, back in the day anyway, to the natural designs of old. It of course has to change to keep up with the other manufacturers, but it's the little things like soft closing doors. Like, let me look at that. Look at that. Soft close. I can do this all day. Look. I'm not gonna lie, as soon as you get behind the wheel of this car, you immediately know it's something special. And I'm not talking about the badges or all of the embroidery that we've got on the seats. Just the whole feeling, the engine. This couldn't have worked with just a 4-pot or a 6-pot, with all due respect to the CSLs that the M3 and the M4 have made with the CS. Now, this generation is where the whole M car experience started for me, because sure, on the E46 and the E92 you had a bit of adjustability with the throttle response, but being able to be in this M1 mode here, which is efficient throttle, smooth throttle, comfort suspension and comfort steering, this car just feels luxurious. I'm cruising along here at 40 miles an hour and the engine's just purring along. You know it's there, but you don't need it. You could be driving a 3-pot at this point, but double tapping on this M2 button, double tap because I've got it set to move around just a tad, and it just feels a bit more lively. Now the dampers are set in the halfway house in sport, because I don't want that much body roll going around some of these bends, and the throttle's set to sport, and of course the traction is where it probably should be on a car like this. Bearing in mind we'll touch on price at the end, and from a second gear pull, it's urgent. It's almost as if there isn't a turbo, a little bit of lag, and then it's at the races immediately. It just, the M5, such a sleeper, such a sleeper. Now, what I love about the M5 is because it's got all of that torque and all of that power, you really don't need to always be up in the revs to really enjoy the capabilities of this car. On roads like this, where it is bumpy, it's welcomed, because you know that this car can just handle it, and you can just push and push and push to your limit, not the limit, knowing full well that you'll be coming out the corner the right way round. And with this car weighing what it does and being as long as it is, bumpy roads like this just get swallowed up. It just says bumpy road, tricky road, come here, I've got this. All day, every day. So using this car every day, would you? You could, but you definitely wouldn't. Now, take nothing away from your prized possession. A special car will go beyond that. My M4, for example, I love that car. I bought it just to play with it for a year and turn it around, and I've now decided it's a long-term keeper. Now, that car, of course, does get battered because it goes on the track, but it definitely gets a lot more protection than, say, my daily, because at the end of the day, the daily goes to Tesco. The daily goes over speed bumps that I wouldn't even dream about going over in the M4. This is the sort of car you wouldn't want to be doing those tasks with. Sure, you can. The boot, being a saloon, is humongous. The rear space, being what it is amazing. So you could lower the seats and put some long, I don't know, items in, such as a surfboard. I'm not sure why we're surfing in the UK, but I hope you get my drift. This just is too special to daily. I'm talking 3 or 4 times a year, take it out, go to events. That's what I would be using this car for. And I know that might be frowned upon by quite a few people, but you've got to think, this car is 1 of 300. If you bin this car, you might be pissed. So I'm not sure whether daily driving it in London or anywhere else for that matter is the smartest idea. Now, bearing in mind that the M5 cost £73,000 when it first came out in 2014, and the Jahre 30 edition, I hope I'm saying that right, cost around 91. It's just crazy. This car is close to 100k. In some parts of the UK, you could actually buy a house for that and still have change. So the question is this car special enough for that £90,000, or should you get an M5 and slap a cheeky tune on it? I know what I'd go for, because at the end of the day, it's not just a car for some people, it's also an investment. And would I get one of these to add to my collection as a car collector? Hell yes. That sound, the drama, the occasion, all of that feeling that it gives you, I'm sorry to say, even to BMW, I'm not sure some of the newer cars can do that.
So 3 decades of BMW M and 1 unforgettable drive. It does leave me thinking, however, was this the last of BMW's truly special editions, or is the best chapter still ahead?